sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reaches them. When the merit of sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to earth in the form of rain and takes on the form of grains, and the grains are eaten by man and transformed into semen, which impregnates a woman, and thus the living entity once again attains a human form to perform sacrifice and so repeat the same cycle. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifices. It takes directly to Krishna consciousness and thereby prepares himself to return to Godhead. Impersonalist commentators on the Bhagavad Gita unreasonably assume that the Brahman takes the form of Jiva in the material world, and to substantiate this they refer to chapter 15 verse 7 of the Gita. But in this verse the Lord also speaks of the living entity as an eternal fragment of myself. The fragment of God, the living entity, may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord Achyuta never falls down. Therefore, this assumption that the Supreme Brahman assumes the form of Jiva is not acceptable. It is important to remember that in Vedic literature, Brahman, the living entity, is distinguished from Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamagyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome to everybody to this Sunday evening program at the lotus feet of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi and Srila Prabhupada Ji. We are indeed getting an opportunity by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi, to get together and sing glorification of Krishna, hear about his instructions, and in this way make our life progressive and perfect. So here is a question asked by Arjuna in the beginning of this chapter, the 8th chapter. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatman kim karma purushottama adidevam kim proktam. In this way he is asking a fundamental question. What is Brahman? What is the self? Very foundational, basic questions he is asking, because Krishna is become Arjuna's teacher on the battlefield, and he is in a great confusion. And quite often we get into confusion in anything in this material world because we don't know the basics about ourselves, about this world, about God and everything. Confusion happens when we go ahead assuming certain things wrongly or approximately, and as we progress and move ahead, we go much away from the truth. And then there is confusion. So, getting our basics together, Arjuna is asking very fundamental questions, very simple questions. And he is not actually asking only for himself. He is actually asking these questions for all of us together as the representative of the entire human society. He is posing these questions, and the answers for them are very useful for all of us. So we should be very thankful and grateful to Arjuna. And this is a foundational question, very basic question. Who am I? Kim tad brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I doing this? What is the goal of life? How to achieve it? What should I do? These are all very basic questions. And unfortunately, human society is speaking about great civilization and progress and everything. If you ask them a question, who are you? Mostly they don't answer. Sometimes the things about this material world is very strange. Very basic things people don't know, but they talk about very big things. And that is why all these big talks, everything crumble and fail, because it doesn't have a foundation. Doesn't have any foundation. So Bhagavad Gita straight away asks you to dig deep and go into the foundation, build a very good foundation. Then if you have a very good foundation, on top of that, whatever you build will stand very good. So we should know the basics of life, foundation of life. Who am I? That's why the question of who am I is being answered in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna from the beginning. Right from beginning in 2.11, Krishna starts speaking advice to Arjuna, because he has been officially asked by Arjuna to accept me as disciple and instruct me. Sishyaste aham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Why? Karpanya dosho pahatasvabhava prachami aham dharma samuda chetaha. Karpanya dosha. Have been overcome by miserly weakness. Mudha cheta. My whole consciousness is totally bewildered. Some mudha cheta. Everything is gone. I'm totally confused. So in this situation, I should not make any decision on my own. I can only ask counsel from you. Please advise me. How many of you in this world have been at times in situations where it is very confusing, you don't know what to do, and you want somebody to help you out? Raise your hand if you feel, I felt like that. Right? Yes, every one of us. Constantly happens. Confirmed also. Constantly happens. And everybody needs mentorship, everybody needs counseling, everybody needs a guru to tell you who you are, what you should be doing, and why you are having this challenge and how to counter it. So, Krishna, he is answering this question very beautifully, also in simple language. He is telling to Arjuna right from the beginning, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the Self. Action pertaining to the development of material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. These things that Krishna speaks is not just some theory, and you have the option of accepting it or accepting another philosophy or something different. This is not very much in keeping with what I think. It's not like that. These are facts. This is how life operates. This is how this machinery operates. This is how your body operates. So whether you accept it or not, it is happening like this only. You have no choice. You have no option. That's why this is called the absolute truth. It's called the absolute truth. It's better to learn it. It's better to understand it. Why? Because you have no freedom actually. You are in a prison. You are actually in a prison. And that we will understand as Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita further. Why? Because He is the creator. And He's explaining how this has been made, what is the system operating, what is the purpose, what should happen to you in this situation, what you should do. So it's not that we are very free. So it says here, action pertaining to the acquirement of material bodies is called karma. Karma is being very casually used nowadays. But karma means binding. You cannot do certain things, and if you do those things, you'll get stuck. You change your body according to that. Forced to change your body. You have no choice. Because you will act in a particular way, you will gather particular reactions, and according to that you will acquire a body. So action pertaining to the change of bodies is called karma. A very wholesome definition. So what we do in this world, I am here, I first come to know who am I, and then I will ask, so therefore what do I do? When you understand who you are, what is your title, what is your label, then from that flows your job description. From that you know what you are supposed to do. Right? You are always given a designation. If you are working in your company, you are giving a designation. And people expect that since you are so-and-so production man, you are a sales, operation, marketing, or that, this, they know what to expect from you and what not to expect from you, based on the label you have. Similarly, who are you? That is the first definition about yourself. When you come to know who are you, then you know what is expected out of you and what you must do. And you have to act like that. If you don't act like that, you get punished. This is not a free place. It's not a place you can do anything you want. So people in this world want this place to be a place of freedom. I will do what I want. But unfortunately, it is not like that. It is not like that. That's what is being mentioned here. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama. Krishna is explaining, you are actually Brahman, spirit. And you are stuck inside this material body. And you keep changing this body. You think you are this body. And your identity changes. It's very amazing information. Nobody can give you this information. Only Krishna can give you this information. So he is speaking that. Foundational information. And if we get to know this and we understand this properly and act according to that, then your life is successful. Then your life is successful. That's why this is called Raja Vidya, king of education. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Bhagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. All of our suffering is because we don't know the answer to the question, who am I? And Bhagavad Gita is pointed towards that. And many other associated information that you should know. This is primary education. Bhagavad Gita is very basic education about spiritual life. Beyond that, if you understand this properly, then you can read the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there you get higher information, more deeper information. In this way you can have many levels of understanding. That is why our basic book is Bhagavad Gita. Basics of spiritual life. If you don't understand that you are spirit soul, you cannot have spiritual life. Spiritual soul, you understand, then you can pursue a spiritual life. Religious life should actually lead to spiritual life. You come to a temple, you see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra Devi. And you will come to pray to the Lord. What do you pray? What should I pray? What is good for me? Most people would pray, come to the temple and pray for material benefit. Because I think I am this body and I relate to the material situation I am in more, and I ask for material benefits. That is my level of knowledge. I will pray according to what I think, which level of knowledge I am in. I will ask of the Lord according to how much I know about myself and about the Lord and about the world. Prayers differ. If you know more, you can ask more. If you know very less, you can ask something very less. And very easily it will be given to you. And you will be very satisfied and you will go. But it is ignorance. It's ignorance. Prabhupada told us a story about how a person has done something wonderful for the king, but he is a beggar. And he has been asked to come to the palace by the king to reward him. And the ministers go and fetch him and bring him. And they are all concerned that the king is a very generous person. And he may offer something to this stupid beggar. And everything will be lost. So the beggar, he came with his begging bowl, his dress, his bag and everything. And he was very surprised at the palace. He had never seen such a thing in his life. So the king welcomed him and told him, I am very pleased with you and your service to this kingdom. Please tell me how I can reward you. What do you want? And this beggar was very amazed in this palace. And he thought for a long time, king is giving me a chance to ask for something. But he was completely absorbed in his own profession of begging. So he told the king, actually I am having lot of difficulty when people give me something I ask, because my bowl has got a hole. Whenever they give me, it all comes out. Can you give me another bowl? That is all he could think of. Because his life is around a begging bowl. And how to beg. How to be better than the other beggar I know in this street. He's getting more, I am getting very less. That fellow is useless, dumb fellow, is not getting anything. But I want to be smart. I want to get a bowl with no hole in it. I'll be successful. That's all his world is. And the ministers were very happy. King said, I'll give you a golden bowl. Give you a golden bowl. I didn't ask for that, but you take it. It means, you fool, you could have asked for something more. But he cannot catch it. So in your prayer to the Lord, you should know whom you are standing in front of. What you can ask him. If you simply ask, my daughter should get married, my son should get this thing, I should get the lottery ticket, and I should this happen, that enemy of mine should be finished. All very small things in front of the Supreme Lord. It's a waste. You should ask him, according to Bhagavad Gita, asking for pure devotion to your lotus feet. That he will give very slowly. That will take time. That will take time. I will watch you very carefully, because you may not be able to handle this treasure of love of Godhead, prema, bhakti. That is the topmost valuable item. But we may not have value for it. We may not have value for it. When we tell people, please chant Hare Krishna, I said, what will it give me? What will it give me? Will I get money? Will I get my problem solved? This is what is mostly there in people's mind. It is all because you don't know who you are and who God is, and when you meet Him, what you can ask Him. So if you know that, then you know what to pray. Nasta dharme na vasunichaye naiva kamopabhoge yad yad bhavyam bhavatu bhagavan purva karmanurupam. Kulashekara Alvar is playing Nasta, I don't want even religious merit. Nasta dharme na vasunichaye. I'm not asking you for anything material. Naiva kamo upabhoge. I am not asking you to satisfy my material desires also. Then what are you coming here for? In this world there is, so what do you want? Yad yad bhavyam bhavatu bhagavan purva karmanurupam. All this will come to me according to my previous karma. Why should I ask you for that? Anyway, it is going to come for me according to my karma. So I am not going to ask you for all that and waste my time. Yetat prarthyam mama bahumatam janma janmantare api tvatpadam boruha yugagata nischala vaktirastu. Very beautiful prayers, Mukundamala Stotra. King Kulashekara Alvar is praying, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want none of these things I want, which people ask for. I want unstinted, unwavering devotion to your lotus feet. Please give me this. So all the great acharyas comment that this is a very smart prayer. Exactly asking what you can give me is this. This is the topmost treasury in you, in your treasury, give me that. So you should ask the Lord for the best. And for that you should have knowledge. Who God is, what He can give me, how much He has, and what He can give me. That is why it is important to know Bhagavad Gita. That is why it's important to know Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise you will have some very simple ordinary prayer. This lottery ticket I must get this. Very small simple things. And then you have a big problem in that also. And you have so many greedy people, envious people around you, even if you get the lottery ticket. So many problems. If you ask for, in your prayer, the best thing for me is to develop love for you, get an opportunity to serve you, then you are considered to be very knowledgeable. But when Bhagavad Gita says this, we may not be very convinced that that is the best thing for me to do now. Because I have got so many problems and difficulties. I want immediate solution for all this. Krishna is saying that will automatically be solved. When you ask for a big thing, this thing will be solved. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. When you ask for big things, small things also are included. If you are going for an interview for a job for a CEO of a company, so many people are interviewing you and they are asking you very deep questions because you have 20 years experience already and you are getting all sorts of people to talk to you and you are going through so many, then you don't have to ask them, will I get a car? Will I get a driver? Will I be able to, have a separate room for myself in the office? Don't have to ask all these silly things. It's all included. It's all included. You don't have to ask for all these things. Because what we want you to focus on is to make profits and make the company go up like this. Isn't it? You should focus on that. All these other things we look after. It's free for you. It's perquisites. It's perquisites that you can see. It'll give you a big understanding of how you will be paid, what all you perquisites you will get, everything will be given to you. You need not worry about very basic requirements. So the basic requirement of material life and all that will automatically be provided. according to your karma. Even if you stand upside down, it will not change. Better, don't ask for all these things. Ask for the big thing. And these things will become very small, easily handleable. You can handle it easily. When you have a bigger vision of your life, and if you have a bigger goal in your life, then all these small goals are accommodated within that. Bhagavad Gita is asking you to have a big understanding of you, because you are very important. You are very big. You are spirit soul. You are eternal spirit soul, not this body. And this life is only temporary. And you will change this body and go to another body. Right? So, it's mentioned that you should rather ask how to stop this body business, how to be eternally situated without change of body, how to be permanently happy. This is smart questioning. Can't this stop? Can't I be peacefully happy without any of these things? That is possible. That is what Krishna is telling you to do. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Don't fear, don't worry about all those small things. If you are surrendering to me and becoming my devotee, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. What to speak about your material requirements? What karma you have from your previous life which will trouble you, all that also I will take away. Next lifetime, what is going to happen also, I will give in clearance for that also. Everything I will clear. If you opt for the topmost thing. That is why we must know information about who am I and who is God. What is my relationship with Him? Because I can take advantage of that. I can take advantage of that. Isn't it? That's very important to know. So these are very simple things. And if we do that, we will make progress in life. Right? That's why if you read all the great, wonderful instances and stories you read in the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see persons becoming successful, long-term success, eternal success, by opting for bhakti, devotional service to Krishna. All great successful devotees you hear about, in spite of so-called this problem, that problem materially, they become very successful, supremely successful. Small problems you'll have, that's okay. That's not really very important. So Krishna is advising in Bhagavad Gita that you focus on foundational, important spiritual principles in life. That is the basic. That is the basic, important foundation. So we may know many things in material life. We know how to shoot rockets into space. We know how to drop bombs and kill people. We know how to wage a war and make horrible defense, weaponry. And we do so many wonderful things. But we don't know who we are. But we don't know what is the meaning of life. So many complicated things we know, but we don't know answers to simple questions of life. So these questions, kim tat brahma, kim adhyatma, kim karma, purushottama, all these questions that are being asked here by Arjuna are meant to awaken in us that understanding. That understanding should be awakened. So whenever you come here on every Sunday or other days, take home 1, 2, 3 understanding points. Note it down. Read the Gita and think about it. Because like I mentioned, these are not just a theory. This is not just a proposal. This is actually a fact of life. It is true. And it is very difficult for us sometimes to accept some of it. Very difficult for us to understand that I am spirit soul. I will not live in this body forever. This body will change. All the possessions I have, all the relatives I have, all the attachments I have, all different types of connections I have, all will disappear at the time of death. And I will take another body and develop again another relationships and everything. At the end of that life also that will disappear. And again I will do, and again I'll take, and again that will disappear. And I have done this so many times. Millions of times. Therefore we should heed to these instructions. You are a spirit soul. You are eternal. You can be eternally situated in your original position, in the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha Loka. And that is where you belong. And there is no misery. You are very, very happy. Anandamayobhyasat. Your nature is to seek Ananda, and there you will get it. But in these material situations that we are constantly in, you find it very difficult to become happy. All these information is given in the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is asking us to take that seriously, adopt it in life, and become very successful. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Professor time His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj studies Maths and Bhagavad Gita and the subject Who am I? So if you have any questions, any comments, please do. Also you can raise your hands. If you have any questions.
Hare Krishna. So, as always, we are having Prashadam distribution after the festival, Sunday Festival Discourse. So, today's Prashadam is sponsored by Keetaneshwar Prabhu and family on the occasion of his son's birthday, Tarun's birthday, and also on the occasion of his daughter Vishwa's marriage with Kiran Kumar, which happened during last August. So on that occasion, we could not go because it was in Hyderabad and COVID time. So he is giving us all of these all the way from Hyderabad. So we would like to immensely bless the couple and also Tarun on his birthday. So kindly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,